and welcome everyone to another edition of Cooking with Faye. Today, since I'm still kind of recovering from this whole head cold thing, I thought we would make some really nice stock. So this is going to be using beef bones and vegetables. If you want to make this vegan, feel free to omit the beef bones. And if you are a carnivore, say you wanted to do something paleo but you didn't want to use beef, feel free to use chicken, pork, lamb, whatever. Just some nice bones, and preferably some with the marrow still in them, because we want to extract as many vitamins and nutrients out of that as possible. But if this sounds like something you would like to learn how to do, stay tuned and I'll show you how. So to make a really basic vegetable broth, and again this is going to be using some bones that I've been saving over the course of the last few weeks as I've been cooking, we're just going to need a giant pot, 7 cups of water. I'm going to use half of this yellow onion, 3 carrots, what is this, maybe 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. I'm going to use about, I don't know, half this bag of beef bones. We're going to use our trusty salt and pepper. You need some kind of acid to help extract minerals and vitamins out of the bone. So for this, I'm just going to use some rice vinegar, and I'm just going to use the rest of this bottle. So let me see if I can zoom in on that. It's probably about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of liquid. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil and then 7 cups of water. So for this, we just want to kind of crudely chop up the garlic, the carrots, and the onion. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back and show you what I mean. Okie dokie, so everything's been chopped up, and I went ahead and added my frozen bones to my pot. And as you can see, these are really pretty darn crudely cut, just because the way my grandma taught me to make broth was that we would actually be discarding all of the vegetables after we cook them. So that's why I didn't really put a lot of effort into chopping them up into nice bite-sized pieces or doing things like removing the ends, because we're really just trying to boil all of the goodness out of them and into our broth, and then that way we can have a nice healthy broth. Feel free to use different vegetables as well. Onions and garlic are just really great at removing toxins and impurities from the body, and since I've been sick this past week, that's really important to me. But if you wanted to add, say, celery or cabbage or anything else like bok choy or something in addition to, say, the carrots and the garlic and the onions, feel free to do that. Make this your own. This is just a really basic, like, cooking 101 version of this. So feel free to use this as a baseline and make this your own. But for right now, I'm going to set you down so that way I can put all of the goodness in the pan. Okay, so now I'm just going to throw all of our ingredients into our cooking pot. And in no particular order, just getting everything all in there. Alright. So now it is time to add all of this rice vinegar. And again, you can use apple cider vinegar if you want. This is just what I happen to have on hand, so I thought I would go ahead and use the rest of it. I'm going to use a tablespoon of my trusty grapeseed oil, which it feels like I'm finally getting to the end of this, so hopefully you'll start seeing another oil making its appearance in future videos. Salt and pepper, again, to taste of whatever works best for you or matches your taste. I suppose you could omit this step. Again, this is just my grandma's recipe, and so I couldn't imagine a world where she would not use salt and pepper for this. So that's why I'm going to use it. And then next, 7 cups of water. And I just went ahead and put it in my pitcher, just for ease of pouring. You don't have to do that, and really if you wanted, you could just pop this whole thing under the faucet of your sink and fill it from there. So next what I'm going to do is put the lid on it, bring this to a boil for about 2 minutes, and then take that down to a simmer, and then we'll check back in an hour and see what it looks like. Welcome back, guys. So it's been an hour, and I did go ahead and add 3 more cups of water just to keep the water level in check. And this is what it looks like so far. Let me just nab a spoon and kind of mix things around. So we're kind of getting to that brothy consistency. We've got a ways to go. So what I'm going to do is set a timer for another 60 minutes. Check it, just making sure that it's still simmering, that the water level is okay. And then set another timer for 60 minutes after that. So for a total of 3 or 4 hours. And just making sure that our water level is okay and that everything is cooking nicely. And then in about 3 or 4 hours we will check back and I will show you the finished product. If you wanted to make this another way, if you had, like I say, a large crock pot, you could put all these same ingredients in your crock pot, turn it on high, and just forget about it for 6 to 8 hours. But alas, I do not have a crock pot big enough, hence why I am using my biggest pot. So we'll be back in a few hours and I will show you what the finished product looks like. So our beef broth has cooked for 4 hours, and then I've just let it cool for the last half hour just so it's not so hard to work with. But I just wanted to give you a view of what it looks like. What I'm going to do is go ahead and strain out the bones and freeze them for the next time I want to make something like this. I'll also strain out the vegetables and, like I said earlier in the video, just discard them. My culture and my grandmother's recipe was to discard them and not actually eat them. If you want to consume them, go for it. That's totally fine. They are good to eat. But I just wanted to give you an update on what it looks like. I'll go ahead and strain some of this out so it's in a nice pretty container, and then we'll check back in a second. And so this is what the finished product is going to look like, guys. This is our beef bone broth that we've been cooking for 4 hours. And like I said, I just let it set for 30 minutes so it's not too hot to handle like this. So if you wanted, you could just drink this as is. It's really healthy and good for you. Or if you were, say, making a soup or some kind of stock, you could use this in place of something bought from the store. So yeah, the opportunities with this are endless. If you have additional questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will answer them as soon as possible. And otherwise, I will see you next week for another Cooking with Faye video. So until then, bye guys!